All right, Sally, how's everything been going on your end? I know you've been moving through some pretty big things, had some big shares in the group chat and in our one-on-one session. What's new in your world at the moment?
Yeah, so I just got back from Kangaroo Island. So that's where all my family live, like my cousins and sister and all of that. Haven't seen them for a few years. So it was brilliant. Lots of, like I said, the boundary setting. So obviously my family's quite intense, as I've said. A lot of drama, a lot of this, a lot of that. And it was such a beautiful holiday, Josh. I just
Yeah,
helped
wow.
my sister with her house, took my niece and nephew over for my other sister, and I thought a lot about our last session and something clicked how I was very I focused.
Mm,
And I thought a lot about that. And I was like, it's not about me. I'm gonna, you know, see what my sister needs help with and,
mm.
take the little ones and just enjoy it. And it was the most beautiful holiday I've had.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
wild, isn't
just
it?
so
When you
everyone,
don't
no one
make it
wanted me to
about
leave.
when you don't make it about me, you don't have all of my problems. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Exactly.
don't get me
It
wrong,
was
we can
just,
people please and we can swing to the other side where we completely forget about ourselves and only focus on
yeah,
other people. But sometimes
yeah.
on those big family gatherings, the greatest thing to do is just to leave your stuff at the door and walk in
Yeah.
there and go, actually, you know what? How can I just help these people here that I'm blood related to and can't escape
Mm.
if one of us dies?
And it was very intentional. So I am very aware of the people pleasing aspect. So
Yes.
because of that as well, it was just completely, it was so different. There was no drama. Usually it's just drama, drama. And it was so beautiful. And I came home to a beautiful surprise. My parents finished off my kitchen.
Oh, wow. Look at
And I didn't
that.
even know. I walked in and I was like, what? But I
That's like
was
the
over helping my
anti-Christmas for
sister,
you.
came home and they helped me out. It was
Yeah,
like
wow.
I was just like, what the hell? Like, I just had no idea. Like,
Mm,
so yeah, like the last week's just been like incredible. Like just lots of things have happened.
yeah. Well, you've
Just
earned it, to be completely honest, like over the last, because you've been doing BYOC for 5 months now. G'day, Trudy. G'day, Ronnie. And for the last 5 months, the amount of emotions and experiences from the past you've been able to let go of, the amount of
yeah,
stories and things that are happening now that are linked to back then you've been able to catch before they've taken you into weeks worth of depression, the amount of
yeah.
reframing and narratives and rewrites you've done of your own identity, some of the deep, deep work, it makes sense why these are the experiences that you create now because of the attitude, the mind frame, the energy, the vibration, the frequency, the version of yourself, the parts of you that are showing up in this particular experience. So I got to say, the amount of tears you've shed, you've kind of earned this one, all right?
Yeah. So anyway, it was a great testing ground to see where the work landed. And like I said, it was beautiful.
Mm. Yeah, beautiful
Anyway,
stuff. Look at
that's me. I'll let someone else take this stage.
No, that's all right. That's a great share, and that's a great thing, I guess, for the people who are new and stepping into it. Those are some of the outcomes that you guys can expect here on this next journey while we go through these next seven modules. Over the next seven modules, quite methodically, you can expect massive shifts to happen in the way that you show up in experiences. And we're not new to personal development. We all know that if you change how you show up to a particular energy, experience, vibration, what you're able to create is changes miles above. And irregardless of what your individual goals are, I know some of you guys are here and you've now done enough identity work, you're looking at really getting started and building out your coaching businesses. I know some of you guys are still working through some of that deeper identity work. I know some of you guys have got a massive vision of what it is that you want to create, and you know that the only way for you to get there is to first really create and lock in to the version of yourself that's capable of doing it. And some of you are here and you don't quite know what the vision is or where you're going or anything else along those lines, but you're here to go, okay, where are we at right now? How are we operating? Look, guys, at the end of the day, I'll say this now because we're right at the start of this. This program, it's not the be all and end all. All right, the coaching work itself, it is not going to be your guru. It's not going to be your savior. I'm certainly not your savior. I'm certainly not the person that's going to come in and rescue you. What this program is a collection of information about the way that you've been operating completely unbeknownst or sometimes beknownst to you, and then a methodical repeatable process that you can use to apply the information for how you operate to the way that you're operating in the moment to change how you operate, to change how you act, to change how you react, to change how you respond. Okay, so we have information, we have a process, and that's all up to you guys how you implement it. All right, over the next 7 modules, I'm here to be your guide, and I am going to say it, I'll validate the emotions that need to be validated, but I will never validate stories or actions that I see are nothing more than repeated patterns from past experiences. All right, and I do that with a lot of love. I'm not here to placate to your emotions. I'm not here to be an emotional dumping ground, or we're not here to be an emotional dumping ground for you to just get those stories, those repeatable stories off again and again. I'm here to support you in helping you become your own coach. All right, I'm here to help you step into a space of true personal leadership. All right, now I'll let you guys know now, I'm a Christian, I'm a man of faith, I'm also a veteran. I don't mind kicking ass left, right, and center if I need to. But whether or not I am holding a beautiful space with soft compassion, and I really recognize that that's what that need is in the moment, or I'm holding up a mirror and say, hey, look, I really appreciate what you're going through and what you're feeling is okay, but here's where you're the problem. All right, whichever side of the sandcastle I'm standing on, I want to let you know that the only thing that's coming through me is love and care for your general well-being. So much so that I will always speak the truth. All right, you might not like the truth. It might not make you feel great, but the truth and the truth alone is the thing that's going to set you free. Okay? Again, I'm not here to rescue you. I'm here to help you get out of your own way. All right, so you can achieve the things that you want to achieve in life. And my ultimate hope, whether you're a Christian or not, it doesn't matter. My ultimate hope is that you find God and you find Jesus. All right, I'm not here to push that onto you. I'm not here to religiously spew on top of you, but just letting you know that my ultimate hope is you find a space with this creator of something that is just so amazing, that can love you in all the ways you need to be loved, to let you live the life that you are always supposed to live. Okay, that's my little caveat. So, are we all good on how we are going to operate over the next 7 weeks? Yes. Wonderful, already found. All right, now, do we have any problems or challenges or issues with the way that I'm going to coach you, the way I'm going to move you forward? No? All right. Well, seeing this is brand new, 2 things I've got to tell you. Number 1, I lifted a little aggressively at the gym today and bulged my disc, so I'm going to be moving a bit stiff. I apologize, I'm not that nimble. And number 2, before we get started, and this is my favorite thing about running a brand new run of BYOC, is we are going to set together a set of community standards. All right? Standards for how you're going to show up here in our live sessions. What you do in your own life is 100% up to you. We'll get to those later. But standards for how you're going to show up here in the live sessions. All right, and once we've set those standards, I'm going to get your permission to hold you to those standards. All right, which means if I see you hitting that standard and going above, you better believe it, I'm going to be blowing that trumpet left, right, and center. But if I see you dropping, all right, you're going to say an oath out loud and give me permission to coach you and bring you back up to that standard. Whether that's with a hug and a cuddle, or whether that's with a swift kick, come on, you've got this, you're better than these emotions are making you think right now. All right, we good to go, guys? Oh, first whiteboard mark of 2026. Yes. All right, so let's do it, guys. Let's move into some standards that we are going to uphold and live by here in our live session. I'm going to get started with standard number 1. All right, I think our very first standard that we need to have is we need to have a standard of punctuality. All right, please be on time, so that way I don't have to wait for 5 or 6 or 7 minutes and everyone else doesn't have to wait for us to be able to get into the live trainings. We can open up the Zoom, chat for 30 seconds and get straight into the content. I would absolutely love that. All right, now guys, this isn't just me telling your standards. I'm here to draw this knowledge and information out of you. All right, so I'd love you to just chuck in the chat now, what are some standards that you think we could uphold ourselves to in order to really get the best out of this? Yeah, 100% judgment-free zone. All right, this is going to be my goodness, and for those guys that have done this before, you know this is going to be an emotional ride. All right, you are going to face and find parts of you that just require so much love and validation. And those parts of you then are going to come out if this is a judgy space. All right, so we need to have a space of absolute safety And the way that we do that, guys, 100% Kylie said it there, is no judgment, okay? Now the rest of these standards, guys, we're all gonna uphold together, but I gotta be honest with you, this standard right here, I'm gonna uphold this standard. All right, I've got each of you, I've got a massive TV set up in front of me. You know, you might think that I only see these tiny little squares, but each one of you has got this massive space in front of me so I can see everything, all right? And if I see someone judging, or if I get a hint that someone's potentially bringing someone down or something along those lines, you're gonna be removed from this community, 100% refunded all of your money, and you won't be allowed to attend anything I run in the future. All right, this is so important that we uphold that, because again, guys, as we get into some of those deeper modules, when we start finding some of the most painful and beautiful parts of ourselves, they're gonna come out, they're gonna come out in a big way. All right, yes, Kylie, no rescuing, 100%. I know a lot of people here are coaches or studying psychology or know a lot of information. We are not here to rescue anyone else. All right, this is a space for personal leadership, for people to become their own coach. Okay, if you feel the need to send someone a message, 100% private message them or DM them or send them a voice note outside of the training and say, hey, look, I think that's absolutely amazing what you went through, that's great. But again, guys, absolutely no rescuing. All right, honesty, yes. Let's definitely bring that one out. Okay, what is it we got up there? Yeah, confidentiality, 100%. I like this. All right, hang on a sec, guys. My youngest son just knocked at the door. Give me 2 seconds. All right, what else have we got up here? No rescuing. Yes, participation, 100%, Kerry. This is a big one, guys. All right. These sessions go for roughly about 2 hours. Now, the only person that wants to hear me talk for 2 hours straight is me, all right? And don't get me wrong, I could do it, okay? As my father used to say, I could talk underwater with a mouthful of marbles. But I'm not here to show you guys how much I know. I'm here to help you unlock how much you know, okay? The only way that happens is through participation. So while I'm facilitating, yes, I'm bringing some cool content. I want to know what's on your mind. I want to know where you're at. I want you guys to participate every step of the way, because if you do this, all of a sudden, this becomes a multi-dimensional, co-collaborated experience where we all get to learn and feed and breathe off each other. All right, I know what I know, but I don't know what Kerry knows, and Kerry doesn't know what Sally knows, and Sally might have a question that Belinda didn't even know she needed to ask. All right, and that might trigger something inside of Ronnie's mind, and Ronnie might go, oh my goodness, yes, that reminds me of this time. What about this? And then Valerie could jump on there, and all of a sudden we have this lightning bolt effect of massive amounts of transformation due to one people participating. So 100% participation is important. All right, what else can we throw up there? We're missing the usuals. Normally there's like 7 or 8 that no matter when I run this, everyone says it, but we're kind of missing some of the usual ones up there. Punctuality, honesty, safety, confidentiality. Yes, Sally, 100%. Fun. Guys, personal development, personal growth work, learning about neuroscience and psychology and quantum physics, it doesn't have to be boring. All right? There's nothing greater for the heart and the hardened and broken parts of your heart to be looked at and brought out and held with humor and with laughter and with humility all at the same time. Okay, just because we may be reliving what happened to us back in 2006 doesn't mean we can't enjoy the process that comes with the coming and the going of those emotions. Does that make sense? Yeah, full immersion, 100%. And if you guys aren't making it fun, I'll get bored and then I'll start making it fun. And for those of you, the ones who are smiling now, they understand what's going on, all right? If I see you guys not showing up, then I don't even know what the heck I'm going to do, all right? I don't even think God knows truly. I think when he was building me, he put a little bit too much random soup in there. He's like, oh, I'm not sure what's going to turn out with that one. 100%. Yes, pay attention. I like that one. Look at me, everyone. Look at me. All right, pay attention. All right, but don't just pay attention to what I'm doing. Pay attention to the entirety of your experience. All right, we're going to spend the first couple of weeks really broadening your self-awareness. Even if you're an individual who is quite naturally self-aware, we're going to spend the first few, you're going to become so much more aware, if nothing else, than of the systems and processes of the things you already know. All right, a lot of people come here already understand about limiting beliefs, and they already understand about emotional regulation. They already understand about these different things that maybe they've been doing on their own growth journey, but understanding the mechanics and operations and the different parts of this central nervous system and the different parts of this being that it's linked to and how it can affect certain things, that's really, really interesting. So if you're able to pay attention to all of the different mechanics that are happening within inside of you, I can guarantee you're going to get a hell of a lot out of this. And the best way to do that, guys, the absolute best way to do that is to be curious. All right, bring a standard of curiosity. Get really, really curious about what's going on. Because when we can create that space of curiosity, and I mentioned this, I think it was in the first or the second content video for this module, we speak about what happens within the brain when we enter that state of curiosity. I think it's in video 2, Inside the Mind of Madness, or it might be in video 1, The Observer and the Detective. I think it is, isn't it, Valerie? It's in video 1, The Observer and the Detective. Have a look at it if you haven't yet, Yeah, we speak about it, and I won't go into the full breakdown now because you guys can go in there and watch that content video, and it would take me about 15 minutes to go through now. But just for a quick overview, for those of you, I spelled curiosity wrong. Just so you're aware, guys, I am not your spelling coach, okay? I am ADHD, dyslexic, and all of the other crazy things that you can think. So what that means is my brain fires off millions of neurons and I'm able to create connections between different pieces of information that other people may not be able to. And I'm able to operate that process at a ridiculous speed for an extended period of time. And as a result of that, sometimes I misspell words. So I am not here to teach you how to spell, okay? I will muck that up more than anything. And I think this is the thing about curiosity, guys, is when we put ourselves in the state, we stop accessing everything of what we know. We shut down the ability to find known information trapped in the library of yesterday's yesterday, and we have the opportunity to have a look at something and create something new. Right? Now, let me just ask you this question. Everything in your past, has it already happened to you? Yeah. Can you change it? Can you magically go back in time? Well, no, we can't. But what we can do is we can get so curious about what was happening, what was actually happening inside of our mind and our brain during those really traumatic experiences. How was that emotion created? That fear that I then carry, or that layer of doubt, or that story that I've brought with me, where else does that come out and play? How many different areas of my life has that one experience shaped? And how has it affected me emotionally? How has it affected me biologically? How has it affected me energetically? When this experience comes up, when I feel this, where is that actually dictating what I believe my limit is? All right? When we get in that space of curiosity, all of the, it's because you suck, it's because you're not good enough, here's 1,000 reasons why, here's all the emotions and stories, everything stuck in yesterday's yesterday gets to stay in yesterday's yesterday just for long enough for us to see, if it didn't just mean that, or if I was powerful enough to change the meaning I attach to it, what would tomorrow's tomorrow look like? And that's really what we're all about here, all right? We're all about having a look at what happened in yesterday's yesterday and unpacking it to the point where tomorrow's tomorrow isn't just a repeat, all right? I don't know about you guys, but 2025 sucked. I've never said that about a year. Some great things happened. I had some amazing achievements in life, in business, and relationships. But when I look back on that, I'm like, I do not want 2025 to repeat. All right, take me back to 2023. Let's make that one happen again, because that was one heck of a year. But I ain't doing 2025 again. All right. I'm also not doing 2019 again. I'd rather not redo 2006, and there's a couple of things that happened in my childhood that I would prefer if they didn't still dictate where I was and what my capabilities were as a 40-year-old man today. All right? We're here because we can't change the past, but you better be damn straight. We can coach ourselves and lead ourselves to the tomorrow that we deserve. All right? That's the purpose of BYOC. Not here to save, but here to coach and lead. We all good? And the last standard Oh man, I'm going to clip that for content. No, I'm not, because I'm not on social media for the entirety of 2026. That one's just for us, guys. The last thing I'm going to say, okay, and the last thing that I really want to bring out is I want you to be 100% authentic. Okay, I want you to be 100% you. Even if you don't know who you are, be that. All right? In case you couldn't tell, I'm a little kooky. And I give myself 100% permission to be 100% me 100% of the time. If your life, if your environment, if your relationships aren't set up for you to do that, then you know what? At least you can do it here. So while we're in a live training, while we're in a Thursday session, bring 100% of who you are. I can guarantee you're going to be celebrated. Sounds good? All right. How are we feeling about our list of standards, guys? I like it. Anything else we want to add in there? No, we're doing good? You know what? I'm curious. If we are really punctual and we pay attention, okay, we step away from the desire to rescue someone else, and we look at this as how can we be 100% authentic ourselves. If we are honest and we create a safe space without judgment, I think for the next 7 modules, we're not just going to have a pretty good time, we're going to create some pretty decent changes in some of those habits that build our identity. What do you guys reckon? We good? All right. Any more for any more? Okay, now what did I say before? Now that you guys have set these standards, I'm going to be like a freaking hawk. Okay, I am going to be studying your big square faces like an absolute hawk, and I'm looking for 2 things. Number 1, where are you above the line on this? Where are you living up to all these standards? And when am I seeing that you're not? All right, because just before you gave me permission to keep you on the line. So I'm going to hold you to that. All right, so what I would like everyone to do now, if they can, is to please rise, please stand. We're going to make this official, and take yourself off mute. All right, everyone off mute.
Sorry, Steve.
Sorry, Steve. Don't worry, there's going to be no shouting or screaming, all right? This is just a note. Okay, if you can, awesome. Now I would like everyone to raise their left arm and place their right arm on their heart. Okay? And repeat after me. I, say your name.
I, Terry Sampson.
Andrews.
Enter this verbal agreement
Enter this verbal agreement
with Josh and the BYOC community
With
Josh and the BYOC community.
that I will uphold these standards.
That I will uphold these standards.
Come hell or high water.
Come
Hell or high water.
Every live session.
Every
live session.
Or Josh will rain fire down upon me.
Or Josh will rain
fire down upon me.
Or maybe he'll hug me. We'll see.
Or maybe he'll hug me. We'll see.
All right, well done, guys. That's our oath. That is it. That has now been. I've got this all recorded. So now, if I see him slipping, and if I see any lawsuits come out at me saying that I got too hard, I can go. No, judge, have a look here. All right, Valerie agreed to this. All right, I need to get a restraining order against Ronnie for he's staring out my window for making him cry too many times. I have some video evidence here. All right, let's get into it, guys. Module number 1. Oh, oops, Sally's back in. That was a serious but fun part, 100%. Okay, module number 1, guys. What is, for those of you who have watched the content, and I'll speak a little bit more about that at the end, what's the purpose of this first module here? Module 1, the Observer. What's the purpose of this early stage in our growth journey, in our personal leadership journey? What do we think it is, guys? Remember, module 1's called the Observer, all right? What are we here to do? And just chuck it in the chat if you like. Or if someone wants to take yourself off mute, yeah, awareness to notice our behavior, identify the thought loops and recognize the patterns. Yeah, good, yeah. What was that, Kylie?
Oh, you still hear me?
I can. She didn't mean to say that. That done, Josh. Yeah, to observe everything about ourselves. Yeah, 100%. Guys, we're here to become the observer, all right? Now, if you could just think your way through your problems, would you still have the problems that you currently have? All right, and how many of you already have come up with just the best solution for whatever challenge it is that you move through? You know, sometimes you get in those moments where it's like, I'm sick of this, I'm just gonna do this and this and this. And it's like, where did that come from? That was absolutely genius. And then 2 days later, you're back in it, you're like, what happened? I had the freaking answer. Yes, we're here to become the observer. Okay, why I say this so often throughout BYOC, and I'm gonna write it up here. We have to observe because we cannot change what we cannot see. All right, we cannot change what we cannot see. And this is where we get stuck, because a lot of the times when we're in the absolute crap, or we're in the midst of it, or when we're noticing ourselves sabotaging ourselves again, or we're noticing ourselves not putting in 100% when we said we would, or we notice in ourselves going, yep, diet starts Monday, or we notice ourselves slacking off from our fitness and exercise when we said we were going to improve, when we notice ourselves not doing the thing that we said we were going to do, or continuously doing the thing that we said we're going to not do, what is it that we're seeing? What do we actually see in that moment? We see disappointment. We see a version of ourselves that's not in integrity. We see judgment. We see shame. We see a repeated pattern. Yeah, we literally observe and watch ourselves breaking our own word. We observe ourselves in a really crappy and unhealthy relationship with ourselves. That's what we observe. When I say, yes, I'm going to make this change, yes, I'm going to go to the gym and eat healthy, and then 2 days later I'm tired and it's inconvenient, so I order Uber Eats, and next thing I'm eating a Zinger box or a foot-long Subway or whatever else it is it might be, I'm literally holding up a mirror and going, I don't like you, I don't trust you, I don't want to put in the effort to change for you. This whole first section of this program, it's not always fun, is we're recognizing how unhealthy our relationship is with our own word, how unhealthy our relationship can be within our integrity. And guys, it doesn't have to be big moments. It doesn't have to be the great big things. Sometimes what breaks a relationship or what slowly erodes a relationship is those small little things that are not done or done over a consistent period of time. Where we get to a point where we say, well, what's the point? You keep saying you're going to make this change. You keep telling me you're going to be home on time. You keep telling me you're going to be attentive. You keep telling me you're going to be doing this, but I'm watching you do something different. All right? So in those moments where we're in that pattern, we still see. We see like there's no tomorrow. We are observing everything, but what we are observing is the version of ourselves we don't want to be. All right? Now, we either move away from pain, or we move towards pleasure, all right? You all know this, okay? Pain versus pleasure module. In any given moment, we are moving away from pain, or we are moving towards pleasure. But regardless of that, if the thing that's driving us to either move away from pain or to move towards pleasure is more pain, more deep-seated, self-rooted doubt, shame, guilt from past experiences, then really the only reason we're chasing pleasure is to get away from pain. Where does that sit within the alignment for how you've been trying to create your life? Where does that sit with the vision and version of yourself that you're wanting to step into, the version of yourself capable of, insert your goal, create a healthy relationship, be more present with your kids, right? Start or finish that business, complete your studies, move to a new location, stop losing my temper every now and then. Okay, so what we want to start doing is we want to expand what it is that we're observing. Okay, yeah, discomfort, 100% away from discomfort. Like the discomfort of me sweating profusely right now. I'm not sure if you can see it in that camera, but it's just dripping down me. Welcome back to Townsville in summer in BYOC. So here's the thing, guys. I get to do this for the first time, which I'm really happy about. when we are ourselves and we try and change ourselves, we come up against that brick wall. All right? Albert Einstein famously said, you cannot change the problem with the same level of thinking that created the problem. All right? And sometimes we can't change how we think or how we view the experience if we're still stuck in it. So the whole point of observation, the whole point of Module 1, the whole point of what we're doing here is we are learning to create space between ourselves, or the version of ourselves that is experiencing the emotion, the reaction, the story, the sabotage pattern. Create space between that version of ourselves and step into a version of ourselves capable of observing from the outside. All right? What we want to do is we want to step back from what's happening and observe it with absolute curiosity, okay? Because if I'm angry, or if I'm upset, or if I'm pissed off, or if I'm sad, or if I'm reacting, or if I'm sabotaging, if I'm doing this thing and I'm out here trying to look around at what's going on, what do I have available to me? The only thing I have available to me is the thing that I am, is the version of myself that I am showing up in that moment. If I'm angry, or if I'm going, oh, damn it, I'm sabotaging myself again, damn it, all I'm doing is watching myself break my trust. All I'm doing is watching myself chase a particular type of person. All I'm doing is watching myself be angry at my kids when I say I don't want to. If all I'm doing is watching myself be emotional because of what other people have done, then that's all that's available to me. We need to step back. We need to observe. We need to create space. Because if I can step back from that version of myself and I can be over here, all of a sudden, I know exactly what's going on. I know what's happening emotionally. And I know a lot of you guys have gone through this already. I understand what's happening. I understand how I'm feeling in this moment. What is the story I'm telling myself in this moment? What is this repetitive action? Hang on a sec. This actually shows up over here in my relationships as well. Wait a minute. I don't just sabotage my relationships when I feel doubtful. I also run this same pattern when I go to get fit, when I go to lose weight, when I go to make a really big life decision. Hang on a sec. This happens to me every time I feel like I'm in threat. This is what we need to step back, guys. This is what we need to start 2026 doing, is we need to forget about what we know, and we need to forget about temporarily where we are going and who we want to be, and we need to make damn sure that we can observe the totality of who it is that I am being right now. Who am I in this moment? Because I can't get to the version of myself, I can't get to over here, which is the goal, whatever it is, if I don't know my start point. I can never make my way through the maze if I don't know how to get in the maze, if I don't know where I am. So that's what we're going to focus on here for this next 2 weeks. That's what we're going to focus on here tonight for Module 1. All right? We're going to focus on stepping back and having a look at the totality of who we are and where we are. So that way we know which direction we need to focus on to get to whatever your big vision is for this year. Whether it's an environmental change, whether it's a personality change, whether it's within your coaching business, whether it's within your parenting or your studies, whether it's in your designs to retire, whatever this is, we need to focus here. And I can guarantee you one fundamental truth. Wherever your here is, it's also here and here and here. Because our right now is nothing more than the accumulation of a series of patterns that have repeated in multiple areas of your life again and again and again and again and again and again. Does that make sense? For those of you who don't know Ronnie, 12-year combat veteran, reconnaissance soldier, absolute weapon, not just as a soldier, he is a trained killing machine. That man is proficient on a multitude of martial arts disciplines, has fought for the Australian Championship, and is one of a handful of people worldwide to hold a particular rank in the ancient Japanese martial art of Bushido, which is their hand-to-hand combat. All right? That man has a pattern, a multitude of patterns and choices and decisions that have led him to this moment. But it's that exact same choice point and pattern and decisions that have gotten in the way of him creating different levels of success in other areas of his life. Okay? Ronnie can see what Ronnie can see. That man knows how to pragmatically approach a physical challenge. He knows what it takes to learn a new skill or a discipline, take in information, practice again and again and again, get in the right mentality to do it. All right? He understands that process, but that exact same pattern and what he doesn't see other than that pattern is what's preventing him from being successful in the areas he wants to be successful in now, in making some of the different changes he wants to make in his life right now. All right? And I'm not just looking at one Ronnie here. I'm looking at a bunch of Ronnies on the screen. A bunch of people who are amazingly proficient and who have loops and patterns and choices and decisions that if you were to draw them up and look back on your life, you could actually create a timeline based on your choice points. And that timeline will be exactly the same in all of the different areas of your life. For some people, it's a 3-week cycle. For some people, it's a 3-month cycle. For some people, it's a 3-year cycle where they could take that blueprint, put it over the last 3 years of their life, go, holy crap, and then take that and put it on the 3 years before and go, I'm getting scared here, and then take that, put it on the last 3 years and go, damn it, I'm the mother flipping problem. We making sense, guys? So, we're here to expand what we see. We are looking for patterns, all right? Once we identify patterns, we can then break down the science of how that pattern was created, psychologically, neurologically, emotionally, and then through your actions and behaviors, all right? If all you're doing is working on your actions and behaviors, you're trying to change your life by changing your habits, it won't work, all right? It won't work. If all you're doing is working on your emotional regulation, you're trying to change your life by being more grounded emotionally, it won't work. If all you're doing is focusing on how you think and your psychology and your stories and trying to upgrade your thinking, you will not create permanent change. Because you are not a psychology, you are not a brain, you are not an emotional reservoir, you are not a series of behaviors and actions, you are not a soul and a spirit, you're everything, baby. And if you're not looking at everything, you won't change anything for a measurable enough amount of time for your biology to rewire and catch up and prune old emotional and neurochemical reservoirs and get out of that icky detox feeling that we have when we make changes in our life and break the standard norm of what we're used to happening. All right? We have to look at the system as a whole. And the only way to do that is to start with what are the patterns. Is this making sense, guys? We call them patterns, we call them loops. That is what we're about to crack into. Can I get a hell yeah if we understand what we're doing here in Module 1? Yes, I have earned this sweat today, let me tell you. All right, I don't know if you can get a bit closer, you can see it. Oh, woo! I'm a sweaty boy. All right, so it is 7:16. We are going to open up into a breakout room. I want you guys to jump in there just with one other person, have a bit of a chat, share with people what it is that you're here to do. Even if you've just come back and you're doing BYOC again, share with the person in your breakout room for a couple of minutes what's your goals and what do you think are the patterns you're really looking at changing. All right, are we all good on that? So quick share of your goals, quick introduction if you don't know each other, and what are the patterns that you're here to change. I'll set this breakout room. And then when we get out of this breakout room, a couple of quick shares, we're going to open up our workbooks and we're going to get straight into doing the work here in the live call, which will give me a chance to stop sweating. Oh, my voice has got to catch up again to BYOC. I'm going to start practicing, getting my singing coach back. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, who had the best breakout room ever? Yeah. Ronnie and Trudy. Ronnie, take yourself off mute, mate. What was something that Trudy shared in your breakout room?
There we go.
Yep.
Sorry, I couldn't figure out how to unmute it for a second there.
Yeah,
You got
right,
me?
Yeah, I got you, mate.
Yeah, she was just saying that she's done this a few times and stayed along with you, for quite a while now. And she's actually done this module, quite a number of times, which is, I think pretty phenomenal. It shows how good this program is. For me, being this is the very first time I've been here.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Or that, or it shows you how dyslexic I am, that every time I do it, it's different. So people have to keep coming back just to keep up. You know what I mean?
That's why I'm dyslexic too.
But no, you're right. And guys, like that's when things are working in your life. Like I used to have this, thank you for sharing this, Ronnie. One of my old patterns was reinventing the wheel or overhaul something when it was working really well. I had this pattern of when things were going good, for some reason, I'm like, you know what I can do? Make it better. Or you know what I need to do? I need to change everything about it now and start again from the ground up. And I did this in relationships, I did this with sport, I did this with my other creative ideas, I did this with anything. I'd create this thing and then just as it was getting to its pinnacle, I'd recreate it. Or I'd redo it, I'd go, now that's trash, let me start again, now that's trash, let me start again, now that's trash, let me start again. And it wasn't until I started to understand how this system worked that I recognized that that was a pattern that showed up everywhere. All right? Now, again, guys, this isn't about changing absolutely everything about you, but it's having a look at going, okay, this pattern has caused some destruction in my life. Is it really such a bad thing? What about it? What's involved in this pattern? All right, is there some positives that have come out of this? What are the strengths? What have I gained from this? What knowledge and wisdom do I have now that I wouldn't have if it wasn't for this pattern? And could I potentially rework some of the goodness in this, all right, to help me collaborate and move towards from a more holistic standpoint, for a more whole viewpoint, rather than completely trashing it, throwing it in the bin and starting again. Does that make sense? And BYOC for me was one of those things. So that used to be a really terrible pattern and habit of mine. Once I sort of understood it and unplugged it, now it's been the very thing that's helped BYOC evolve. All right, it's the very reason why I haven't done what every single one of my mentors and my coaches have told me to do, which is just create a standard digitalized version of BYOC so you don't have to run it, put some ad spend behind it, sell it as a digitalized program, don't coach it, and just create passive income from it. Every single mentor I've ever had has said, I'm sitting on gold. I could be making 100K a month doing this if I just digitalize it and create. I'm like, how do I do that? How do I possibly teach the same thing every single time, exactly the same thing every single time, when every time I deliver this program, I learn so much more about myself and I learn so much more about the human condition from you guys, from the people doing this. You help this evolve. So yes, it's a great thing that Trudy's coming back and doing this every single time, but the reason Trudy's able to do that is because of Trudy. It's because of Kylie, it's because of Valerie, and now Ronnie, it's going to be because of you. If you come back and do it again, all right, it's your input that's made it change. If you didn't input, and if I didn't get to watch your growth and you didn't share with me your experiences, it'd just be a dead ass thing I can just rinse and repeat every single time. I could train someone else to do it and I could step back. Some things in life don't quite work like that. At least that's what I've learned. All right? Yeah, the delivery, the live delivery is me 100%, but I can't change my live delivery if you guys don't grow as well. Do you know what I mean? If the participants didn't grow and change and make this so, like at the end of it, I'm like, I gotta, like, wow, look at all these upgrades I have now because Kerry shared this and then Valerie shared this and this has helped me put it together like this now, then it would be absolutely nothing, right? Thanks, Ronnie, great share. We might hear from one other person. Kerry, let's go with you. What is your goal for this year and what is the pattern that you are looking to understand more, I guess, create, maybe change. And for everyone else, just chuck your goal for the year in the chat and just the pattern that you're like, okay, you know what, let's focus on this one.
Yeah, so my pattern to change, which I think will kind of help a lot of my little goals along the way, is that I kind of begin something and then after a little bit, it either challenges me a little bit or I get some kind of resistance and I throw it out the window and look for something different.
Yeah.
So
okay.
yeah, that's my
Yeah.
thing. So just learning that, like I've been practicing the stuff, the discipline side of things anyway, but really kind of delving into that a bit more and understanding it more.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think Sally's just put in the chat there, she's in the same boat. It's to be more of a completer rather than a finisher, rather than a starter. It's really easy to start something new. It's like renovations. It's really easy to smash down walls. Kind of hard to build them, as I'm learning, from my current smash down wall in my upstairs house and my not yet completed built wall. Yeah, Valerie had the same. Yeah, oh, you guys had the same thing. Oh, of course, cool, there we go. All right, that's good that we got some similarities there. I think I see Kylie typing away there. No worry, I'll have to leave. Yeah, Valerie, yeah, awesome, guys, awesome. So let's get into it. Again, we're doing something a little bit differently where we're going to focus on implementation and on completing the workbooks live here in the session as we go through. I haven't done it like this before, so if it's a little bit clunky, module 1, module 2, just bear with me. We're going to do some rolling adjustments as we go out to make sure that this is 100% the way to go. So what we're going to do now, what we're going to focus on for the remainder of this session is, where is the chat? If you're able to download the workbook, and if you haven't yet, click on, yeah, awesome, Kylie. Just click on this link. If you have your laptop nearby, that'd be handy. If not, you can do it on your phone, but it'll be a little bit skew-if. Click on this link. It's available in the chat as well, in the portal, the BYOC portal as well. And just give me a nod when you've got it up. All right, when you click in there, you'll be able to make a copy. So this is your copy. Okay, you can either print it off. Okay, there we go, Sally. Sally, did that image print off as well in the center of the page or not?
I took it out so I could write over the top.
Ah, okay. Oh, I see how it is. Take my branding out. Get it.
But it was just easier for me to write over the top of it.
Yeah, no, that's totally okay. What was that?
Do you mean the watermark?
Yeah, the watermark, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's still there.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I designed that myself a couple of years ago. My 360 Empire logo. All right, bit of hours in Canva on that one. All right, guys. So what we're going to go through. If you've watched all the content, this is going to be helpful. If not, I can help guide you through it. One thing I will say from here moving forward is because of this new format, it is going to be an absolute 100% requirement that again you make the time to watch the 2 to 3 content videos per week to get us ready for these live sessions, so I can spend an hour unpacking, rehashing, and then we can get straight into it. All right, if you weren't able to do it, I know Ronnie only gave you the okay to come on board last night. You know what I mean? So all good for you for module 1. I can work through it. You and I are catching up this weekend anyway, so we can go through module 1. I can give you some pointers on how to go through it. All right, just thumbs up that everyone's got this document open. All right, cool. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to, all right, share my screen. So we're going to spend the next part of our session going through this. If you've already had the chance to go through and fill it out throughout the week, that's awesome. Share with me and I'll coach you through it. This next part of the session is going to be a little bit like the Thursday Q&As. Okay, so if you need some help, just use the raise hand emoji, check your hand up, just take yourself off mute, call out to me, and I can help you work through it, all right? But again, guys, I want you to start getting into these throughout the week so we can start cracking into them as well during our live session. We're going to move straight down here to section 1, okay? And I want you guys to start identifying for your life now. We're going to start to build our observation. Again, we can't change what we can't see. We're really going to start to have a look at what keeps repeating in your life. Okay, so it could be for emotion. Some people it could be a relationship. It's pretty individual for what it is for you. But what I want you to write down is I want you to write down a minimum of 2 to 3 things that keep repeating in your life. All right, and then from there we're going to move through. All right. Oh, the young fella's just knocked on the door. Give me 2 seconds, guys. All right. Sorry about that, guys. All right, have we all got our couple of loops? You guys, if you guys want to skip ahead, cruise through that. That's totally okay. Again, I'm just going to be here for you guys to go through it if you want to skip ahead, or if you want some help with it. Again, take yourself off mute, just start chatting, and we'll go through and we'll get this filled out. Okay. So has everyone got their 2 to 3 loops identified? Still working through it? Yep. All right, cool. So we'll move on to the next session. So for each loop, okay, again, nice and short, 1 to 2 lines per answer. What are the emotions that are consistently showing up? What thoughts follow these emotions? And then what behaviors usually come next? Okay, this is extremely important because, again, we act from emotion. All right, we always act from an emotion, and even if we don't think we're from a space of neutral, then our emotional state is neutral. Okay, our emotional state is grounded. Every emotion always has a thought. All right, every emotion that comes through is always linked with thoughts, with loops, and that's always followed by a behavior or an action. All right, now that behavior or action could be taking no action. It could be sitting in it. It could be stepping back to observe it. That's still an action. All right. So once you've gone through those 4 questions there, what emotions constantly show up or consistently show up? What thoughts follow the emotions? What behaviors usually come next? And then last one is when did you first learn or experience this pattern? And again, guys, just your best guess is fine. So how are we going, guys? And I'll finish it off. We're good? Yes, Sally, did you want to take yourself off mute and share yours?
Okay, so I already had one, but I was just writing another one down during that session. So mine was like I said, like I'd get myself starting projects in life or in the business, like full-blown momentum, like really hardcore. And then it will stop. Like it's not even procrastination. It's just like I literally will just drop it. So it's not like, yeah. So I will like have these really cool ideas. I'll get really into it, like just buy the equipment, like invest in it, and then just like not follow through. So the emotions. Wait, is this what we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. The emotions that constantly show up here, it's fear, frustration, confusion, and anxiety.
What else is it? What other emotions are showing up there in order for that pattern to happen? Because those are the emotions that show up once on the downside, right? Like those are the emotions that show up when you've stopped the project.
You mean beforehand?
Yeah. What are the emotions
lead up?
that show up? Yeah, the lead up. Excitement, passion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Wonder. Like those are the emotions that show up in this pattern as well. And that's that's the full loop of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, and again, like we want to expand what we can't see, and just then it's like, right, yeah, okay, so this shows up, there's frustration, there's all those sort of things. So if we just focus on what happened at the end of the pattern cycle, we never really catch how the pattern is starting. So we haven't got the full loop. Does that make sense? Yeah. So there's a difference between a pattern and a loop. A pattern is just a series of things that happen consistently, right? A loop is the thing that starts it a whole way around again and again and again. You can have patterns without loops, but you can't have loops without patterns.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's a bit like what you said earlier. You know, there is goodness in it. Find the goodness.
Exactly right, yeah.
Okay, so what am I up to? The thought bit?
So have you added excitement and those sort of things in there?
I did. I wrote down after you said it.
Yep, cool. So what are the thoughts showing up?
My thoughts? Well, now that you've said that, obviously at the start I have like my thoughts are just like so expansions and like a lot of possibilities, like possibilities, opportunities.
So write these down. There's thoughts of opportunity, thoughts of possibility. Look how great this is going to be. This is going to be
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
So very, very
Um,
future focused thoughts.
yes. So obviously there were the thoughts there were the
Yeah,
thoughts at
right.
the start.
And
Fucking
the other
sick.
thoughts are still, they're in there as well. So the other thoughts need to be written down as well. Whatever the thoughts were that come off the back of, doubt and fear and all those sort of things.
Yeah.
You
Um,
might need more space
cool.
than just the printed document there.
So yeah, so obviously the thoughts that kickstart the exciting opportunity thoughts, and then sort of I guess I flow more into like more about like the unknown, like the what ifs, and then
Mm,
like remember last time you went all in and you got burnt out and you blah blah blah, and you don't have the resources, or um what if it takes away. See, I have a lot of my thoughts are like, what if it takes away from X, Y, and Z? So I have a lot of thoughts where it's like, if I
yeah,
do more, or if I actually do this, it's gonna take away from what I'm
yeah.
already doing. So
So
I
a
have a
lot
lot
of
of
what
those
ifs.
thoughts.
Yeah, so just like what ifs.
Yeah, I guess a little bit of like an all or nothing mindset. Like either I go all in
Yeah.
and like, and I think that sometimes takes over a bit as well.
Mm,
Like just the yeah.
yeah. Does anyone else,
Um,
just curious, does anyone else here have an all or nothing mentality? Yep, says combat veteran with 19 different black belts under his one belt. Right, right. Yeah, I think we're all a little bit of all or nothing. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you have to be. It's not a terrible habit, but yeah, it's good to identify that part of this loop is that all or nothing. All right.
yeah.
So let's move on to C. And has this additional explanations helped everyone else answer? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So this format's working currently.
And
Okay.
this
What
is
comes?
like everything, like all areas.
Mm,
And then the behavior, obviously, like you said, the behavior obviously at the start, it's like I'm all in,
yeah.
I'm full blown.
Yeah.
My behavior is like taking all the steps I
Yes.
need, like just doing it all.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Like full
and
masculine, just
then
go, go, go mode.
and then I kind of obviously get to a point where it's just I'll just avoid and I'll just drop it.
Yeah.
Just completely like just pretend I didn't even start. Um,
Just shove it in the storage
so
room. Is that why all those mannequins were sitting in the back of that storage room? Were they all half-built projects?
sorry about that. I didn't even know last time. I was like, wait, were they even allowed to be on YouTube? Is that like, sorry if I offended anyone, by the way, with naked mannequins in the background.
That's right. I haven't been flagged yet. I'm sure there's naked photos of me on YouTube. So
Probably
no,
be
I'm fine.
flagged for a few of my things and comments. Um, and yeah, so I guess my behavior is like, it's like I'm either like I'm actually actively
Yeah.
doing it, or I'm just
Yeah.
like avoiding it.
Yeah. Okay. So it's
Not
like you get the emotion comes in. It's like excitement. All right. And the thoughts are, I'm going to do this. We're going all in. This is going to be the best. And then we start looking at, okay, what do I need to do? Step one, step two. We then systematically approach this and we take action based on the thing. All right. And then it hits a point, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, now the emotion's changed. Now it changes to like, oh, what am I doing? Like fear or doubt, or should I be doing this? What if this is affecting everything else? I'm not over here now. Okay, and that's the emotion. The thoughts change to, oh my God, I shouldn't be doing this. I need to stop. I need to pause. And then the actions change to, let me just avoid this or step away from it. Or now I need to try and hide this. Okay. All right. So does that sound like just that loop there? We go through this. That sounds like a loop to me, not just a pattern, but a loop that we can get caught in. All right.
yeah,
That's good. That's good. We're starting to identify it. All right. Now,
absolutely.
let's go on to the next question. Question D, is there like, when do you feel this started? Let's just rough ballpark. When did you think that or do you think that you first learned or experienced this pattern?
This is the bit I get quite stuck on, because I'm like, I don't know if it's like a school age thing, or if it was more like later on in life after multiple things had happened, and then that's when a bit more fear built up.
Yeah.
So that bit I'm a little bit confused at. Sorry, I'm not sure. It could
Yeah,
be
that's okay.
both.
So if looking back on it, do you think actually this is kind of something, like if I look back on it, this is what I did in school as well? Or can you look back and go, actually, no, it wasn't like that in school, but then all of a sudden in 2003, I just started doing these things?
Well, I know at school I did leave things to the last minute and then I would just get it done. I was never really
Yeah.
a kind of like a, I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, like space out the
Oh,
work over.
possibly. I don't really have much memory of like back way when, like my childhood, but
Yeah,
I
that's
do
right.
know there was a point in my life, like when I was all go go and I was doing things, and I think, like I said previously in a couple of sessions back, um, I did get burnout and I was actually in hospital, and I know
Yeah,
that that's played a big part in
yeah,
me now being very careful of like not overdoing things.
yeah. Okay, so I would say for the best guess, it'd be around that time. During that time of burnout. And when you were in that moment of burnout, did you have like multiple projects where you would do this thing where you would just start? Okay,
Oh, my
so
feet didn't touch the ground.
whatever period of life that was, that's it. Okay, that's the period of life. So whatever age you were, right, like 2006, or I was 23 years old. Do you know what I mean? Because that's going to be really helpful in the later modules when we start to unpack, the different parts of us and whether or not it's a firefighter or whatever else. We won't go too far ahead of ourselves. So yeah, I'll just
Okay.
write that down there. Cool. All right. Can everyone
Yeah.
else see what we did in section 1 there? Has that helped you all unpack a little bit more how to go a bit deeper in section 1 and write it all down there?
Just
Yep.
a question, Josh.
Yeah. Cool.
Um, I noticed there that with Sally, you were kind of talking about positive things like excitement and all those kinds of things. Everything I've written is negative, so I don't know if that's correct.
What's your pattern?
Well, I've put up the emotions consistently showing up as the feeling of not being good enough.
Yeah. Well, I
And
mean, yeah.
yeah, I was just
No,
saying the
that makes,
thoughts following that is it then comes in the negativity, the
yeah.
self-judgment, and the fear of failure.
Well, that's right. That's a completely different loop to Sally, so it will be different. Sally's
Oh, okay.
loop has to start with something positive and excitement. Do you know what I mean? That's her loop. But if the loop that you want to change is a constant loop of doubt, I mean, you don't be like, oh yes, I'm so excited. Let's doubt ourselves. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like you're not excited to be doubtful, so it's not a part of your loop. The loop that we really want to identify for you, it is a loop of self-doubt,
Yeah.
shame and all that sort of thing. So that's perfect. That's where your loop begins.
Okay.
So
That's good.
Yep. All right.
Just checking.
Cool. Yeah. All right. We all good to move on to section 2? Yep. All right. Cool. So section 2 is, again, now in the content, Ronnie, you probably haven't seen this yet. If you haven't watched the content, that's okay. Section 2, we focus on the unconscious why. All right. So when you pull it up, actually, I'll just quickly share screen again here. Might be the best way to go. All right, so section 2, we focus on the why that's driving our loop, okay? So we can understand the system that sits beneath the reactions, okay? So having a look at the loop above, and again, this is where we get to step into that space of curiosity. It's no longer up on my whiteboard there. We get to have a look at it and go, okay, what is it that your system or this loop is trying to protect you from? Okay, we want to have a look at the protection mechanism from it. So Sally, for you, with this loop of getting excited, started, stopping, and then pausing, what do you think it's trying to protect you from? Okay, I've got some examples here: rejection, loss of control, failure, insignificance, discomfort, conflict, being wrong, boredom. It could be boredom. It could be monotony that it's trying to protect you from. All right, but every single loop and pattern that we have, it has a method or a mechanism of self-protection. Okay, so we want to have a look at that. What is it trying to protect us from? And if we had to name the why, okay, so why is this really happening? When we have a look at what it's trying to protect us from, all right, and then we have a look, we can understand, okay, we know why it's happening, all right? What do you think it could be? And all we want to do is complete this section. So my unconscious why here is because it helps me feel, it helps me avoid, it helps me achieve, it stops me from experiencing XYZ, all right? Make sense? And again, we want to step back from the individualized, like the zoomed in experience, and we want to look at the loop and the pattern as a whole. All right, so Trudy, for yours, it's going to be pretty simple, right? Or not simple, but it's going to be different because yours is a loop of self-doubt and self-deprecation. You're really trying to understand, okay? So what is this trying to protect you from? Could almost have all of those things. It's trying to protect you from rejection. All right, if I really step back and have a look at this loop, it might be trying to protect you from, feeling like a loss or someone else rejecting you first. Do you know what I mean? So you're going to reject yourself, or it might be trying to protect you from standing in the limelight. Like, I don't want to be seen, and if I really step back and have a look at this loop, I can see the why. I can see why this loop is happening. All right, just try and keep me safe. All right, Sally, yours will different. For yours, it could be that, I can't sit still. Like, I don't want to sit still. Okay, and I don't want to be too consistent in one thing because then all of the things I'm trying to run away from is catching up to me. So for you, Sally, it might be, it keeps me busy, right? The why does this loop happen? This loop keeps me focused on anything except myself, or anything except my childhood, or anything except that feeling of being bored. Does that make sense? Yeah, it could be it helps me feel alive. Ronna, yours might be it helps me feel alive. It helps me feel safe because if I can be proficient on every kind of martial arts possible, I know that thing that happened to me back in the past can never ever happen to me again. So it keeps me from threat. That's why I have to, everybody's like, you got it. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I have to do it. If your like go loop is not necessarily martial arts, but always starting a new project, it might protect me from just sitting in stillness. Because when I'm in stillness, all of a sudden, like, all of the noise and the chaos comes in. That's just too much for me to deal with. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to start a new project and then I won't finish. Does that make sense? It could be the loop of starting but not finishing. Could be, well, you know what? It helps me feel good about starting a new project, but then it also helps me feel bad about not finishing it, because then I know if I feel bad, I know how to feel good, which is to start a new project. So the why of the loop might be to keep me in this loop, because as long as I'm focusing here, I'm not looking over here. All right, as long as I'm doing this, I'm not feeling emotions. As long as I'm focusing on this, I'm not focusing on the terrible things that I've done in my life. If you like, guys, what you got to do, just chuck in the chat. Chuck that, the question 6, that completed sentence. My unconscious why here is, again, because it helps me avoid, achieve, feel, whatever else it might be. And then there's another point there. If you have written multiple loops, which why shows up most across the loops? So what you might find is the deeper unconscious drivers, it might be the same regardless of what all of your patterns are. And again, guys, this is why we play a big game of zooming out and looking at all of the patterns as a whole, because it might just be one main driver that drives all of your loops and all of your patterns. All right, it could be one major story, one major map, one major blueprint that's created all of the different things that you do that are linked into a similar cycle. We see this in really positive ways too, guys. We don't always have to get locked in on the downfall of this, because we can see that sometimes if you've had terrible things happen to you, or you've experienced terrible things, the why that one unconscious why that might drive all of your sabotage patterns might be the same unconscious why that has you here trying to create a life to create change for other people. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you as a young boy were traumatized terribly and your mission in life is to help young boys who have been traumatized, but it's that same trauma that keeps sabotaging you from showing up and doing the things that you need to do in order to help people. You've got the same deep why that's creating two completely different components or categories of your life. Creating two completely different parts of you, but it's the same wound or the same why that's doing it. Does that make sense? That same need to keep busy might be the same need that shows up for you sabotaging the very thing that you've created to keep busy. Does that make sense? So we want to have a look at that pattern and have a look at the why. Yeah, to help me avoid discomfort. Okay, that's interesting. So this pattern of yours, does it tend to show up every time there's discomfort, or does something show up every time there's discomfort that runs an avoidance strategy? And in this particular pattern, is it once the task or the project or the build gets to a point where it's difficult or challenging or uncomfortable or more than likely, once the excitement, energy and emotions have run their course, and it's no longer exciting, all of a sudden it's like, ooh, okay, now I need to avoid this discomfort. That's the next part of the pattern. It's like I start the project to avoid discomfort, but then when the project gets uncomfortable, I then stop the project. Yep. It makes sense. Yep. Yeah, avoiding hard work because it's uncomfortable. Interesting. See, it's wild, right? So many people can react to this differently. And even though the surface level pattern is the same, and this is why there's no one size fits all approach to coaching. Anyone who's like, there is absolutely no one size fits all approach. And again, this is why I'm such an advocate in learning all of the different systems involved with how experiences are created, how we create our own reality, because this same pattern of starting a different project and not finishing it, I know that everyone here raised their hand, right? Or I think even Ronnie mentioned that he does this as well sometimes. He jumps around and starts different projects. But I know for a fact that the unconscious why driving Ronnie isn't because he avoids discomfort. He loves discomfort. Ronnie thrives in discomfort. In fact, he starts projects just to put himself in discomfort. So can you see that if we tried to throw a Band-Aid solution or just focused on the habit without diving into the stories and the emotion and the why that's driving it, then what might work for Kerry won't work for Ronnie. Or what 100% will work for Ronnie would send Kerry into an overwhelmed spin. Because what's the driving factor is different. So if we look at an operating system, your engine's making the same noise, it's not quite firing in the same way, yet it's a completely different section of the engine that's causing that same problem. Does that make sense? Or it's the same engine part behaving completely differently. Ronnie's engine part is overworking, which is creating the exact same pattern at the surface, yet Kerry's engine part is not working, is underworking, yet somehow it's creating that same result. Does that make sense? Of starting projects and jumping from thing to thing, sometimes in different areas. Yeah. Yeah, but here's the thing, Ronnie, you're right, it is about control, and it's about control for Kerry as well. When it gets to a point where Kerry can't control, she avoids the discomfort. When it gets to a point, Ronnie, when you can't control, you lean into the discomfort. Does that make sense? So same pattern, same thing happening up here, yet the layers underneath it are very, very different. It's interesting, isn't it? Humans are interesting. And Ronnie, when you start doing psychology, there's a lot of things that they won't teach you that you'll learn here in this program when you do your psychology degree. And this is one of those things. There is no blanket solution. And this is why the data that might say for 78% of people it's about control, so we can lean on the fact that, okay, this is a control mechanism. Every single person you approach or you work with might not be the 78%. And that's why the data, you know how you were saying to me, right, like which one of your 2 psychology courses you wanted to lean into? There was the one that was focused around behavior, and there was one focused around analyzing data. This is why I was leaning more towards the behavior. Understand the behavior and don't let the data drive you. All right, clinical psychology will have you focusing and diagnosing purely on data. Well, this is what this person's experiencing. What does the data say? No. You don't need the data specifically. All right, you need to get down and understand the nuances of that person and what are they thinking, what are they feeling, and how does it differ from the data. Then you can truly help someone really understand where they're at psychologically and what changes they can make or what therapies you can recommend in order for them to create that level of change. Does that make sense? Yeah, cool. Awesome stuff. Kylie, my unconscious why, italics, I love that, is not progress because what if I can't handle, is to not progress because what if I can't handle success? I will make a mess and disappoint. Wow, that's interesting. So now it's a third one. Well, no, I don't want to progress because what if I succeed and then make a mess of it? What if I actually get what it is that I want and then it all crumbles? Very, very interesting. Sally's like, oh, that's me too. I like this, guys. All right, have we all got our statement down for section 2? All right, let's move on to section 3. Screens. Oh, wrong screen. Okay, there we go. So now what we do is again, guys, we focus on the level of motivation. So again, Ronnie, this will be new information for you, but when you go back through and watch the module content, you'll see it in there. Again, guys, and again, this is why I want you to start watching the module content. Even if you watched it before, have a rehash before our next Tuesday night session, just so we can get in there. So now that we understand what's running our why statement, okay, why is this behavior patterning happen? Now we can move on to the level of motivation. So for Ronnie, there's 3 levels of motivation that every single action, thought, emotion, feeling, the whole lot is operating out of. We're either operating out of level 1, which is survival. I'm trying to stop pain, fix a threat, or feel safe. We operate out of level 2, which is I'm either chasing approval or avoiding judgment. I either want a reward or I am avoiding a punishment, which sounds like if I do this thing, then I will receive insert reward, or if I don't do this thing, then I will receive insert punishment. Does that make sense? Or our third and our highest level, which is out of alignment, or it's intrinsic identity. So this is I'm acting from who I want to become. Okay, I do this because this is just intrinsically who I am. I'm acting this way because it's in alignment with the version of myself before that I'm becoming. It's in alignment with my identity. Does that make sense? So what we want to have a look at now is we want to have a look at the loop, and we want to identify which level. Okay, I just realized I wrote a mistake there. Cool, let me fix that here. Which level? Okay, I'll fix that after. So we want to have a look at, if you guys can just correct it on your page, which level of motivation is this loop operating out of? Okay, so is it operating out of survival? Is it out of reward and punishment? Or is it just intrinsic alignment? All right, it could be a mix of two. It could be, okay, it is reward and punishment because I know that if I achieve this thing, then or if I start this loop, you know, it might be, yes, I'm going to do this project. This is going to be great. Then I'm going to feel amazing and I'm going to move forward. And it could also be a deeper level of, well, I'm trying to avoid pain or I'm trying to stop a threat from happening. All right, so identify again the loop. We just want to have a look at what level of motivation is this loop operating out of. And then after that, we want to have a look at which level feels like it's calling you forward. All right. And you'll generally find if it's a loop that's showing up in a lot of areas in your life, then this loop, it's not just going to be here in this, the level of motivation is not just going to be here in this pattern. You're going to see it everywhere. You're going to have a look and go, okay, hang on a sec. This loop, this pattern that's showing up, it's operating out of level 1 and level 2, okay? It's survival and it's reward and punishment. And if I'm now to zoom out, I have a lot of areas in my life operating out of that same level of motivation. Like there's a lot going on out of survival right now, and there's a lot of actions going out of reward and punishment, where it's like, oh, I'll do this thing. If I do this thing, then I'll feel this. Or then I'll overcome this, or then I'll achieve this. Or, oh, but if I don't do this thing, oh, cool, if I don't do this thing, I'm going to hell. Or if I don't do this thing, you know, then I'm a terrible person. Or if I don't do this thing, I'm going to get cancer. Or if I don't do this thing, I'm going to be overweight. Do you know what I mean? So we might be able to see there's a lot happening that kind of fits between those two. And again, just give me a thumbs up when we're all done with this section. Should be a pretty short one. Yep, 1, 2, 3. Cool. Didn't need that red pen anyway. Yeah. I think all this yelling and shouting has actually freed up my back a little bit. I don't know what it is, but I'm feeling a little bit more mobile until I got to walk up the stairs in 20 minutes time. I mean, oh, not doing it. All right. All right, we all good to move on, guys? Yep. Yeah, if you're still working through it, that's cool. All right, so the next step, and this is a new section that we've done here in the workbooks, is now we get to have a look at our pattern workflow. All right, so the content for module 1, we now get to have a look and put it in a workflow that pulls everything together in a structured process. All right. So when we're going through this, again, now we can have a look at this step by step. And what this means is once you learn this structured process, when you're going out in your life and you identify another loop or another thought, you're like, oh, hang on a sec, is this a bit of a pattern? You can step back and use this same process every single time to get to our point of observation. Right now, remember, module 1, we're not doing anything with this yet. We're building and flexing that super muscle of observing this pattern. Okay, observing this loop and where it's showing up in your present, where it shows up in your anxieties and imagination and future visions, where it's shown up in your past. That's our whole purpose of this next couple of weeks, or this next little bit of our life, section of our life, is to identify where this loop is showing up and really build a solid relationship with it, okay? Again, what we're doing now is we're having a look. We're no longer going to be the loop, all right? That loop is no longer going to run our life with a book on top of our head and we're sitting here going, what the monkeys is going on? We are stepping back and we're going, okay, loop, I see you. Now, where are you? All right, where are you showing up? I got you, buddy. I got you. Where is this emotion showing up, all right? So step 1 we want to do is we just want to name it. So what's that reoccurring situation, that reoccurring pattern? All right, we're going to name it. And then from there, we move on to step 2. So what's the emotion that shows up first? Okay, again, it's going to be different for you, Sally, than it's going to be different to you, Trudy. And you've just filled this out. Okay, so up here, now we're doing is having a look at the workflow. What is the situation or pattern? What's the emotion? What's the thought? What do you normally do next, which is really important, okay? Especially when you can sit back and you can go, hang on a sec, I noticed this excitement coming up now. All right, Sally's like, I just got really excited about an idea. I got really, really excited about an idea. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down there, cowgirl. Let's pump the brakes there, Sally. All right, this is that pattern. All right, what shows up? Emotion, and then what were the thoughts? Now, what do I normally do next? Because for you, Sally, it might be, well, I normally go to Bunnings. First thing I do is I convince myself this is a great idea. Or I convince myself I need this thing. Right? The first thing I do is I believe the lie. Or I allow myself to be deceived or excited, okay? And then what I do is I normally go out and I buy a bunch of materials to start this project. Again, Sally, I'm going to use you as an example. All right, that's what I normally do next, okay? And why? Because it was trying to protect me from, Sally, take yourself off mute. What was your thing here?
Yeah, okay, so mine was stop like more excitement.
Yeah, so what was it trying to
stopping me from
trying to protect you from or help you achieve?
Protecting me from being in the same stuff. Like just
Oh, so like monotony, kind of like the same experience.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So
And
I started for excitement, for newest in my life.
for newness. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, so it's trying to protect you or help protect you from monotony, and help you just create some change, right? Just kind of shake it up a little bit. Okay, cool. So you normally go, I'm just going to use the example, normally go to Bunnings, buy a bunch of tools and spend $2,000 on a bunch of things that I don't need, all right, to help me create this new project to create change. Okay, now what's driving this loop? Is it survival, reward, and punishment, or is it alignment?
So that's the thing. I think so. I think at the start it is alignment.
Yep. Is it?
But that's the part that I was just a bit confused about just then, because I'm like, interesting, because you've shifted my way of thinking with my loop now. Previously, I had obviously either reward and punishment or survival.
Yeah.
But if it was an alignment, I wouldn't go down. I would complete the loop, right? If it was truly in alignment,
if it was truly based on like alignment, identity, and it was intrinsic, you would identify the thing and go, yep, this is in alignment. This is part of my identity. This is intrinsically what I do, who I am, and what I.
So I would follow through.
Oh, I'm back.
I'm going to go with maybe number 2, reward and punishment then. Perhaps.
Oh, okay. My camera's doing its glitchy thing again. Yeah, I would suggest it's a little bit of both. Okay, a little bit of relief. Okay, and reward and punishment, 100%. So it is a this and that motivator. I'm going to achieve this thing, and then I'm going to feel this thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm going to start this new project, and it's going to be great. I'm going to feel amazing about myself and everything's going to change, right? And you're right. If it was in alignment and if it was truly intrinsic, you would complete that project and then everything would change. And you wouldn't need to start another project unless that project was also intrinsically aligned with who you are and with where you're going.
Yeah.
Does that make
That's
sense?
cool, because I was only saying to Valerie that with the gym stuff I started, I've been really consistent with that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
super
So
consistent.
that's right.
Yeah.
So that's perfectly in alignment with your values around health. And it's perfectly in alignment with your identity. And it is intrinsically something you do. You don't need to be motivated. All right. In fact, you'll go to it if you're not motivated. You'll go to the gym because that's what you do. That's in your alignment, right? So
Yeah.
that's an example. Now, if you were like every 3 weeks, yeah, we're going to go to the gym. And like, yeah, this is going to be great. This is my excitement. And you go to the gym for a week and then you stop. And then next month, I'm going to go again for a week and then you stop. That would tell me that it's purely level 1 and level 2. Does that make sense? It would be purely alignment and purely reward and punishment. Yeah, I'll go to the gym. I'll feel good. I'll lose weight. And if I don't go to the gym, then I'm going to shame myself or judge myself or insert, whatever insult your mind wants to come up with in the moment, right? But that would tell me that you are actually intrinsically aligned to not train. Does that make sense?
Mm.
The things that you just do automatically and you get in there, like Kerry, no one has to tell you to love your children, right? No one has to tell you, oh, I've got to love my kids today. No, that is intrinsically and aligned with your identity. It's who you are. Does that make sense? We all have those things. So yeah, I would say that it's this pattern for you is not intrinsically aligned with who you are. Does that make sense? What I'd say with Ronnie, for Ronnie, it's different. For Ronnie, starting a new combat and going out there and training and fighting and going to the gym and learning these different levels of discipline to protect himself against that thing happening in his past to never happen again. And if he sees something happening to someone else, like Ronnie can step in and prevent. He can prevent whatever happened to him if it's happening within his vicinity. That is intrinsically aligned with who he is. He doesn't do it now. Okay, it came from survival originally, but he doesn't do it now out of survival. He's pretty good. I'm pretty sure only a bullet could stop him, and I don't even think bullets could stop Ronnie. Do you know what I mean? So again, and this is that thing, like what started that pattern for him was survival, and what started it was about reward and punishment, but now it's intrinsically ingrained into who he is. It is 100% in alignment for him to be proficient in combat sports. Does that make sense? Because he starts, he does the hard work, moves through the discomfort, he completes, and it moves him closer to the version of himself that he wants to be, which is always able to protect himself at all times and protect the people around him. Does that make sense? So if he started a new discipline and then stopped it and never completed it, then it would not be intrinsically aligned with who he is. It would be an aspirational identity that he wants to become, but so much of his actions are still rooted in who he used to be. Is that making sense? So similar for you, Sally, going to the gym, training, being healthy, being fit, for you, that's intrinsically aligned with who you are. But this pattern of starting things and not finishing things, it's not in alignment. Does that make sense? It can become alignment, so you start and complete things, but right now it's not, because it's a loop that you want to change. Does that make sense?
Okay, just what you said then 100% makes sense. And the example that you've given us with Ron, that just like, yeah, cool. Because yeah, obviously once we change the loop, it no longer comes from survival or reward. So even it will become an alignment. I've got you.
Yes,
okay.
so it won't be emotions and motivation led. Yeah, it will no longer, you won't just be like, oh, I feel exciting emotions, let me act on exciting emotions. It'll be like, oh, I feel exciting emotions. Is this thing I'm about to do in alignment with who I am? Like Ronnie feels exciting emotions, but that doesn't mean he goes and acts off every single impulse. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe he does and that's a loop that he wants to change. But it could be like, oh, I feel really excited, but I also know this is counterintuitive. You know what I mean? Like Ronnie could be like, oh, I'm feeling super excited and super hungry. And he's like, but I don't want to go and smash a 30-piece KFC bucket because that would make me really feel lethargic. And I want to have a massive gym session tomorrow. So the feeling of excitement is still there, but whether or not it's in alignment determines on what he does with that same emotion. So you'll still feel excitement, Sally, but you won't just pick up random things. You'll feel excited and you'll pick up and do a project that's in alignment with who you are, and you'll maintain the excitement and you'll complete the project because the project is in alignment with who you are. The project is intrinsically based on your values. All right, hint, we're going to get to values in module 3 or 4, and that's where we can have a look at what do we compare it against. Is that making sense?
Yeah, I mean, yes and kind of no, because hold on, like, so with the gym stuff, so for years I struggled with to be consistent with that and to build strength, but like now it's no worries for me at all. But the thing is, like, I always wanted to do it back then. Whereas like it just kind of randomly happened for me. Well, actually I gave the example of why. Sorry, that's not true. It was more of a motivator thing. I mean, yes and no, it makes sense because sometimes I get a bit confused now because it's like the thing that I might be doing, it's like if you're saying, well, it's not aligned with your identity and your values, but I'm doing it. But then if I shift that and then, okay, I think so.
Yeah, let's just say that you had the aspirational identity, like you wanted to be a singer. Do you know what I mean? Like you really wanted to be a singer and you really, really wanted to learn guitar. At the start, it's going to be difficult. But if that's truly who you want to be and what you want to be doing, you'll stop going out and getting drunk and you'll stop going out and screaming at concerts because it ruins your voice. And you'll start acting and behaving in a way of someone who's willing to move through whatever the specific discomfort is in order for them to be aligned with that identity, because in their heart, that's what they truly want to be, and they've tried to do everything else, but all they want to do is be a singer. Does that make sense? And everything keeps pulling them back to them. It's always intrinsically aligned, and they keep finding themselves doing those intrinsically aligned tasks. There will be projects. I'll have to learn how to play the guitar. I'll have to learn how to sing. I might have to move out of my hometown and go move to a town where there's more opportunities. All right, but they won't all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Like if they wanted to play the guitar, they wouldn't all of a sudden pick up a tuba or start going to, protesting against killing whales and yelling and screaming their voice. Even if they turn on the TV and goes, man, the whales are getting hurt. I hate that. I really want to go out there and save the whales. But they'll go, yeah, but if I get excited and do that and start screaming, I'll do it once or twice, but it's going to hurt my voice and it's going to take me away from who I'm intrinsically aligned to be. Does that make sense? And real talk, guys, a lot of the challenges we have in life is because we don't know who we're intrinsically aligned to be. We don't know who it is we truly want to be because we haven't learned enough about ourselves, because we are stuck in these loops trying to avoid the same pains and discomforts we felt as a child. Does that make sense? So this is why we want to step back and we want to observe and we want to really have a look at what is it that I truly want to do in my life? Because the version of you that's here in module 1, what this person wants to do and how this person wants to show up, I can guarantee you it's different to the version of you that we're going to meet in module 7. Because of all of the growth and the recognition, the transgressions and everything you've grown to, you get to this end, you're like, wow, like there is so much more growth now. Who am I? I'm so much more aligned with the version of myself that I want to be and who I want to do and what I want to do. And the patterns that I used to have in module 1, they're not the same anymore. They're not still there anymore because this work I've done to be more aligned. Are we understanding? This is really deep on video 3, the 3 motivations, which is great. But we're starting to understand the nuances that sit within this and how we can change, we can adapt. Yeah, and also like when you think about it, like when we were babies, everything was survival. Right? Everything was survival. And then we learn something, we get proficient at something, and it's no longer survival. Marketing, when you're first, for the coaches in the room, I know there's a few who are trying to start a coaching business. At the start, marketing is survival. You're marketing because you have to survive. You need to earn an income, you need to get your name out there, you need to get out there in the market so people actually find you, right? So the act of marketing becomes like this terrible, scary thing. You do it out of reward and punishment, level 1 and 2. Okay, I need to earn an income, or I want to get my message out there. I want to make changes in people's lives. I want the relief of achieving the thing. I want the reward of serving clients and the reward of finances. And I know the punishment if I don't do it is more self-doubt, or people don't receive the services that I offer, or I'll go broke and I'll be under too much financial stress. So it starts out, but then once you get into it and you start to enjoy it and you learn it and you overcome the fears, it just becomes intrinsically aligned with your identity as a coach, as someone who needs to do their own marketing. It's the same with studies. It's the same with relationships. It's the same with all of these new things that we tackle. They usually start off not from intrinsic alignment. They usually start off from something that we need to overcome and survive. Right? Ronnie needed to learn how to defend himself. So my goodness, did he learn how to defend himself? All right, I needed to learn how to speak, how to facilitate, how to undulate my tone, how to use the energy in a room, because I wanted to create a facilitated space where people didn't just get information, they got an experience that would stick to them. That would stick with them. At the start, it was about reward and punishment. If I do this, then I get that. Now, try and shut me up. Now try and get me not to show up and speak, or not stand on stage, or not share my wisdom and knowledge with passion and with excitement. It's now intrinsically ingrained into my identity because it's aligned with a version of myself that I want to become, that's most truest and natural to me. Does that make sense? I couldn't be a singer if I tried, because that's not in alignment with who I am. But I tell you what, I've tried to be a soldier, I've tried to be a chef, I've tried to be a mechanic, and I've done these things. All right, I've been lots of different identities in my life. But the one that I have now as a man of faith and as a speaker, as a coach, this is the identity that's most in alignment with who I am. So I can't not do this anymore. Does that make sense? So Sally, I know you got a big move coming up at the end of the year, massive. That's going to be a huge change in alignment and a huge change in identity, but it's killing you to not do it. And this is how you know if you're on the right path. If you not doing the thing just crushes your soul, then that thing is what you should be doing. All right? For me, it's this. If I'm not doing this, my soul gets eaten alive and I feel like I'm wasting my life. Doesn't matter how much good I'm doing. It's the same with my two boys. If I'm not present and I'm not being a good dad, a firm dad for you, you little monkey sometimes, if I'm not being a present father, then it hurts my being. And I fall into doubt and chaos and all of these things. So being a good present dad is intrinsically aligned with the version of myself that is just the absolute best version of myself. For some people, it's combat sports. For some people, it's being there for their kids. For some people, it's doing X, Y, Z, whatever that thing is. When you're doing it and you're in alignment and you're in flow and you love it, that's the thing you're supposed to be doing. All right? There's going to be challenges along the way and discomforts along the way, but for some reason you keep trying to do it, don't you? You know, you keep trying, don't you? You keep coming back to it, don't you? That's because deep down, that's what you're meant to be doing with your life. Does that make sense, guys? Kind of went a little bit sideways there, but yeah? Kerry, did you want to share before Sally asks another question?
Actually, she gave me the hugest aha through going through that, because when she brought up about the gym, and what I discovered from this was that I am intrinsically aligned to be fit and healthy, but my motivational thing is like survival and relief. So I can run any day of the year, walk for freaking hours on end, but as soon as you make me stop and do strength that gives me great discomfort, I'm out.
Yeah, but you know you need to keep training, don't you? Because it's intrinsically aligned. It's something that's built into your DNA that this is what you should be doing. All right, and fitness and health is on everyone's, right? And that's why we feel guilt and shame and doubt when we're not doing the thing. But then as soon as we do the thing, we're like, I feel great. Yeah, that's because your pattern is in alignment. The emotions that show up are in alignment. The thoughts that show up in the pattern of doing the thing you know you should be doing are in alignment. They're intrinsic. right, the behaviors that follow are also in alignment. So all of those things that we're identifying, it's still a loop, but it's a loop that's in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, the only time we feel that discomfort, that craziness, is when the loops that we're in are not in alignment with what we're supposed to be doing. There can be parts of that loop that are right, but if there's parts of the loop that are off, then we'll feel that too. Is that making sense? Has that helped everyone go through this, work through, and understand this a little bit more? Is there any other questions on this particular section that we're working through? No? Okay, awesome. So we got a couple of activities that you guys are going to do, not now, because we're coming up on the end of time, but off this today, there's 2 practices, okay? We have a daily practice, which is a daily, or just an observation practice to build a daily skill. And then we have a self-compassion reframe that is really, really powerful, but I'm going to get you guys to do, okay? So I'll just quickly share my screen here. Yeah, buddy. Oh, you got my hat on, my army hat on. All right, so this is our observation practice. Again, we don't have one of these daily observation practices in each module, just a couple, and this one we do, all right? Now, this is really, really important. Again, what's the purpose of module 1? We're expanding what we see, all right? We want to see this pattern. We want to see this sucker everywhere, all right? We need to start recognizing and having a look at all the different components. If, for example, with Sally, we realize that there's another side to this one. Okay, for you, whatever your pattern is, maybe there's another side to it, maybe there's not. That's where we can be curious. But what I want you to do is this is about observing, and when you see it, when you notice maybe the thought, or maybe it's the emotion, or maybe it's the why, or maybe it's the action, when you notice that loop, that bad boy showing up, all right, this is when we get to pause and we get to separate, we get to step back. All right, whenever you feel activated, all right, pause and go through. Okay, hang on a sec. The emotion I'm feeling, I'll keep using Sally as an example. The emotion that I'm feeling is excitement. The thought that this emotion is generating is, yeah, this is a good idea. Let's start this project. I just want to build something new. I'm feeling really excited. I just want to start a new project. Okay, I normally go to Bunnings, and underneath it, I'm just trying to create a bit of change and a bit of, or avoid a bit of sameness. And this is coming from survival right now. This is coming from reward and punishment. All right, before you act from it, this is when we just take 3 simple deep breaths and just calm our system, okay? Calm our system. Trudy, for you, it might be the emotion I'm feeling is doubt, or I'm feeling that self-deprecating feeling. Okay, and the thought I'm having is, oh, you're worthless, you keep doing this, you're never going to change, you've done this program 3 times now and you're still stuck in this. Okay, and the behavior is I normally just go, oh, frick this all and just, no, I'm not doing this. Or I start overeating, or I start having a whinge to someone, or whatever else it might be, having a whinge to Melissa or whinging to myself. All right, and I know underneath that it's just that pattern, okay? My underneath why is insert whatever you come up with. Okay, and this is just coming from survival. That's all we do. 3 deep breaths, okay, calm our system, catch the loop. 3 deep breaths, calm our system, catch the loop. All right? Once we've caught it, we then move into our self-compassion reframe. Okay, Trudy, this is going to be powerful for you. Okay, so for you, Trudy, it's going to look like choosing the loop, okay, seeing that loop, catching it and going, okay, if I was observing someone I care about going through the same loop, how would I speak to them? So Trudy, if you saw Sally or Valerie going through this, or if you saw Melissa caught in that loop and you could see that they were in it, how would you speak to them? All right, what tone would I use? What would I remind them of? And then how can I speak to myself in the same way? All right, when we do this, we shift from conflict to compassion without bypassing truth. And this is really important, all right? This is really important, everyone. We know when we're being honest with ourselves, and honestly, sometimes we feel like we're stuck in the loop. Okay, sometimes we feel like what we're telling ourselves is true. You can't be like, no, it's all good, sunshine and rainbows. That's bullcrap. It's not sunshine and rainbows. You're feeling this emotion, you're having this thought, you're stuck in this loop, it sucks balls. Okay, so without bypassing the truth, how can you shift from conflict or from whatever your loop is to compassion? All right, guys, and that is your daily practice. Over the next 7 days, I want you to catch yourself in the loop, have your compassionate reframe, and as a little bonus, I want you to share in the BYOC chat. All right, and just go module 1 daily activity. All right, here's the loop I call myself in, and here's my reframe. Sound good? Yep. All right. Any questions or any shares from that last little part there? Yeah, Valerie, please.
Sorry, just a quick question. Can you explain the difference between a pattern and a loop again, please?
So a loop is when something plays to completion. A pattern is part of the loop. So for example, with Sally, the pattern, all right, and you can have the pattern, and she was just like, I feel really depressed, you know, and it's a pattern. Every single time I start a new project, okay, every single time I start a new project, I don't complete it, and then I feel depressed, and then I have these thoughts, okay? That's feeling depressed, having those thoughts and not completing a project, that's a pattern, right? But that's not what starts the pattern, and that's not what finishes the pattern. The pattern is zooming back, and it's the whole loop. So the loop is I feel excited, I start the pattern, I feel discomfort, I stop the pattern, I feel the shame, I doubt myself, I feel like crap, I start a new pattern, I then get excited, I start a new project, I get excited, and that bad boy plays on repeat. Okay? Part of that loop is the pattern of feeling really excited and starting that new project. Part of that loop is the pattern of feeling overwhelmed and then doubting myself and not completing it. Part of that loop, there's a pattern of shame every single time. Does that make sense? So a loop is what starts and completes a full cycle. Without the excitement, Sally's cycle can't complete. The pattern of doubt is in there, but the cycle can't become completed. She needs the motivation and the excitement to complete the cycle or the loop. Does that make sense? I'll draw it up just for those people who might need a little bit more. So we might have okay, I'm going to write P for pattern, 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 okay? We might have a part of this pattern here might be, okay, we'll start it for Sally, okay? Excitement, so EX, positive emotions, so PM. Thoughts of I can do this, so then we have thoughts of I can do this. And then shopping. Oh, P. Okay, that's part of it. Okay, so that's one pattern. That happens consistently every single time. The next part of the pattern over here might be do the work, so work. And then that might lead to pain or discomfort. Okay, and that might lead to doubt. Okay, now it's a pattern that every single time Sally starts a new project, okay, well most times when Sally starts a new project, she goes through this pattern of working hard, hitting a point of discomfort or pain, and then feeling doubt and guilt and shame. Okay, and then the next part of this, it might be avoidance, withdrawal. Okay, then there's a pattern of avoidance and there's a pattern of withdrawal. Okay, and then we might have a shame cycle or something along those lines. Okay, and then we go, we might do that. We might go over here, shame. Okay, and then over here we have boredom or monotony. And then that triggers a thought of needs change. So, can you see this? So these are all the different patterns. In order for this to be a loop, every single one of these patterns needs to happen. Because there's a pattern of working to a project, getting to a point of discomfort, and then quitting. That's a pattern, right? There's a pattern of avoidance and withdrawal. There's a pattern of shame. There's a pattern of boredom and monotony, which then creates a space where she needs to change. And then there's also a pattern of excitement, you know, positive emotions, and then thoughts, and then going shopping, all right? Now, Sally didn't identify this. So there's no loop, right? Now, if Sally had tried to work on just completing tasks without seeing how the loop started, she wouldn't have gone through the full cycle. Does that make sense? If we just focused on the emotions of avoidance or just focused on helping her feel okay and shame, okay, cool, we're fixing one pattern, but we haven't had a look at all of the different patterns that exist within that cycle, within that loop. So a loop is a full completion of a cycle and all of the different patterns involved. Now, if Sally gets really good at overcoming discomfort and then all of a sudden breaks this chain and she starts completing tasks, she breaks the loop, she breaks the cycle. Because, and if she doesn't give up when it gets uncomfortable, there is no avoidance. That pattern of avoidance doesn't happen. We break the pattern of avoidance. And then the shame cycles don't happen, okay? Because she stopped running shame cycle and hiding, and then she won't feel bored, and then won't need, and so then she won't feel bored. So now we've done this, right? And now all of a sudden what we've done is we've created a new loop or a new cycle of starting tasks and finishing tasks and starting tasks and finishing tasks. Does that make sense? Are we understanding? Okay, so your identity, and this is what I said right at the start, your identity, who you are, what's intrinsically aligned, is nothing more than a series of loops. This is your identity. This is what I said at the start. You're a very specific things. That's why I said you can grab that blueprint and you go, hang on a sec, let me place that over my past. Look at all the patterns. Not look at all the loops, look at all the patterns. Sally, I could grab that and go, I have a pattern. So this part, I have a pattern of avoiding things in discomfort. It's not just projects. When I look at it in my life, when I look at my identity as a whole, I can see that that same thing of pain and avoidance, when I feel discomfort, that shows up in my relationship loop. That shows up in my work loop. It doesn't show up in my fitness loop, but it seems to show up consistently everywhere. Is this making sense? And so this is why I was saying we need to step back and observe our patterns. When we see our patterns, okay, we can then identify our loops. When we see our loops, we can identify our identity. Now we can start going, well, let's get rid of that. Let's work on this. This one here shows up everywhere, so I'm going to focus on that. And I know when I work through my ability to avoid discomfort and pain, when I increase my capacity for it, it's going to help in my relationship, it's going to help here, it's going to help here. All right, and then we can look back and go, actually, you know what? This wasn't really based on who I wanted to be intrinsically. This was all about survival because I was too afraid of pain and discomfort. I don't even need that part of my identity anymore. So now, let me create a new one over here, and this is now who I am. This is the evolution of my identity. This is aligned me. This is intrinsic me, not just the me who's afraid of discomfort, or the me who doesn't want to speak publicly, or the me who's afraid of building my empire only for it to crash down, or the me who's afraid of being rejected or alone. Does this make sense? Are we seeing this little dyslexic drawing thing I got going on here? 100%. So what we're learning in BYOC, okay, yes, we're learning our patterns, but the guys have done this, you know, we're learning the mechanisms of it all right? How do we create thought and emotion? How does that story lead to a belief, lead to an emotion, lead to an action? How are the different parts of us showing up in these different areas? How's my brain processing the information that creates this whole thing? Because when we can step back and have a look at the operating system, and then we learn how to operate the system, we can create whatever we want. We aren't afraid of ourselves anymore. We aren't afraid of the world anymore. It's like, I'm in fear right now. I know what my brain's doing. I know what my patterns are doing. Or we go, oh, this is becoming a pattern. I know why. Because I'm telling myself this story, it's charging this neurochemical structure inside of my head, makes me feel this emotion, this part of me which was born to protect myself from that emotion, that part of me comes out and it goes, let me take over reality. You go sit in the corner. We seeing this, guys? Oh, aren't you glad you came back for BYOC again? Like I said, every time is different. All right. We're going to pause so I can breathe. That's it for today. There you go, buddy. That's it for our session today. Any questions, any final points, any shares or anything from what we've gone through? No, you guys happy with the crazy direction that with? Yeah, great explanation, 100%, 100%. All right, guys, so from here, our next timing is going to be 12 p.m. Queensland time on Thursday for our Q&A. I would like you to focus over the next 7 days on doing that observation, that daily observation. Look for, okay, get curious, look for this pattern. All right, whatever you've come up with now, look for it, search for it, find it out there. And don't just look for it in you, look for it in other people. When you're having a chat with your partner or your friend, go, oh, hey, I see my pattern there too. And then observe it in them and go, oh, what can I see now that they're moving through that, all right? Because they're explaining to me something, that's one of my patterns. So rather than me helping them straight away, going, hang on a sec, I know that pattern. I see that pattern now, and just again, hyper awareness. Definitely due to the compassionate reframe. So if you notice yourself in it, go, oh, well, if I saw someone else going through it, what would I say to them? What tone would I use? How can I reframe it with compassion? And then from there, keep working through this pattern, guys. If you need any help, drop your questions on the BYOC school portal, just in the community page. Drop it on there for you guys that are here. If Sally drops a comment or a question on there, jump on there, show us some love, get that algorithm boosting out there. And that is it from me today and my spine and my son, and we will see you on Thursday. I'm gonna hang around for a minute. If you had any other questions, awesome. If not, I'll see you Thursday, guys. Appreciate your time today.